Well, welcome back to Steve Rob Reviews. Today we're doing some torture testing, and it's going to be on the Firman genset. That Firman generator has the specs of 3450 watts running and 4450 maximum. So that's 28 amps running and a maximum of 37 amps peak. So what we're going to do today, as requested, everybody wanted to know if the compact table saw will run at a higher amperage as you're pushing the wood through it. Now, the last time I remember doing this was a long time ago. It was back in February. And I think running was around 8 amps, but it peaked out way high, like about 50. So now the 50 doesn't concern us too much because it's only momentary. So what I've got is I've got it plugged into my outlet like before with the exact same extension cord. We're going to start off and we're just going to test it on the mains and see exactly from the household current how much power does this thing run. I got the meters all set up here, and then we'll do it again with the table saw pushing the wood through, and then we'll do the exact same thing with the Firman genset, and we'll see if there's any difference, whether it can handle it. Then the second part is going to be very interesting. We're going to do some more loading up of it, and I have somewhere over here my Milwaukee circular saw, and it's rated 15 amps. So let's see what we can do, and let's see how far we can push this Firman genset. So I'll get over here and I'll just fire it up. I'll get the second camera showing the meter readings. Let's get to it. Okay, for the first test, all we're going to do is use the electricity that I have in the shop, and we're just going to turn it on, and we'll get a base setting of exactly how much this draws. So the meter on the right here is for voltage, and the meter on the left, the big one, is for amperage. Let's take a look. Well, as you can see there, the max was around 48, and it did start dropping though. I'd say it's going to probably bottom out around 8.5 amps, and the voltage, we got a minimum of 104, and of course it recovers after that, and it goes back up to about 121. So I think that's pretty good. That's a good baseline. We'll say around 8.5, 8.7 amps. Now, let's start pushing a piece of wood through this, and let's see what happens now. Okay, this is pushing a piece of wood through, and we're using the household electricity. Let's take a look and see what happens. Okay, from what I seen, it looks like around 14 amps. It went up from about 8 to about 14. And on the voltage here, well, it only went down to, a low of 105. And so, guys, it does go up a bit. I would say about 5 amps. 5, 6 amps. I mean, 114, from 109. It's hard to exactly, say exactly what it's going to be all the time. But yeah, I'm saying it draws 14 amps. You put a piece of wood through that. So now let's take a look at starting up the Firman genset and running a piece of wood through, and let's see if it'll handle that. Because as far as I can see, it should have no problem with 15 amps, 14 amps. Okay guys, you can see over here, I got it plugged into the genset. Let's start her up. Let's put a piece of wood through this. as you can see, it handled it no problem. Let's move on to the next test. We're going to, I'll give you a little bit of a peek here of this gen set and the outlets on it. And then we'll hook it up to the circular saw. Let's get everything going here and let's do a little bit of a torture test on it. Well, I'm going to show you the setup here, what we got going on. And this is quite a unique gen set. It's got two outlets, which are 20 amp. This one here, 30 amp. This one here, twist lock, 30 amp. Now I picked up this little outlet here, this receptacle here. Guys, this was only like $7 at Princess Auto. So what I'm going to do is, just stab that in there. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to run it all off the one outlet because I only have one line splitter. So what I'm going to do is, check this out, guys. Here's the circular saw, and I'm running it off a 14 gauge 50 footer. Because you know what? A lot of people don't run, you know, a small little cord. They run a long cord. That's 14 gauge 50 footer. And I got the other cable down here, and it's all going into this junction right here. Now check out this. Now this is, you're not supposed to do this, guys. And so I've got everything stabbed into there, and everything's going to go through the amp clamp, and we're going to bring everything over here to the meter. So I'm going to start the gen set up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that piece of wood while the table saw is running. Now I know putting a piece of wood through there is going to add an extra, say, 5-6 amps, but let's see what happens when we got everything running at the same time. Okay, let's start the saw off first. Well, there you go. You've seen the numbers, guys. I'm saying that gen set can run this and the circular saw at the same time, no problem. Of course, you have to run it through separate outlets. And guys, I'm saying this is a valid test. This thing can run both of them at the same time, and I think it's a fantastic gen set. And I look forward to using it more in the future. You have to really test your equipment, and that's what it comes down to. And I'm very happy with this Firman gen set. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again, guys, and let's have some more fun. Cheers.